Hi, welcome to MJTHR. My name is Melanie Thorley and I'm the director here. And this is our blog session. Today we're going to talk about employees making the complaint after they resigned that they were forced to resign. This is an area that is becoming more and more prevalent, and it is a very difficult space for employers to deal with. I'm not talking about an employer who presents a blatantly unhealthy work environment where employees feel they can no longer continue to work there. Unsafe construction sites, unsafe or unhealthy hours. I'm not talking about that space. I'm talking about workers who might have a dispute with their employer, then resign because they don't feel it's getting anywhere, and then complain that they were forced to resign. Forced resignation is an area here in Australia which falls under the unfair dismissal regime most of the time. It can fall under what we call the general protection space as well. And it's about where the conduct of the employer is such that the employee had no choice but to resign from their position because of the employer's conduct. Now, most of the time, this is about workplace behaviours where that employee feels that they can no longer be employed there. It could be that you're restructuring and you've given them an alternative position and you've asked them to work there. It could be that you have found that this employee is not performing and you're placing them under some type of performance management regime. It could simply be that that employee has now got a bunch of new reports that they just don't like and don't feel that they are gelling with those people, so are just getting very nervous or very anxious about turning up to work because their employment structure has now changed. If you find yourself in a situation where an employee resigns and there's this question of whether or not that employee resigned because they felt that they wanted just to move on, or they felt they had no choice, it's probably worth stopping and thinking about. Forced resignation applications can be really expensive because the first thing you're going to have to show is that it wasn't, that the person resigned voluntarily, that the management action was sensible and it was reasonable. But it is worth thinking about. It is also worth thinking about if that employee does resign, what next? Are you going to send them a confirmation that they resign letter, ask them to sign it, for instance? Or are you going to ask them to sign a deed which states that they resign voluntarily and maybe give them some benefits to that deed in order to get them to sign it? It could be a number of things that you're going to attempt to do in order to make that person feel better about the situation. What I guess I'm trying to say here is that while we acknowledge that employees have concerns and feelings about the possibility that they're forced to resign, it's critical to approach these situations with empathy, understanding, and a commitment to open dialogue. I think as employers we should be dedicated to maintaining a positive work environment which its culture is positive, that we're valuing our employees' contributions and addressing any legitimate concerns that rise. And together, I think it is possible to work towards a healthy work environment where you have less of these issues and more success. On that note, that's the end of our blog session today. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next one. See you later.